And going back to our mission statement, one of the first things that we want to help you develop is your character. When you think of character, what qualities come to your mind? When you think of a person of character, what does that person look like? What qualities?
And anybody can answer.
Yeah, you can answer.
Honorable, respectful.
Honorable, respectful, yes, absolutely. What did you say? Down to earth. What other qualities come to mind?
Person of integrity.
Person of integrity. Humbleness. Absolutely. Sincerity, right? Trustworthiness, all of those good things. That's what a person of character looks like. And those are the things that we want to help you develop here while you're on campus. We have chapel 3 times per week. And that's one of the ways that we try to equip you with those things. And we are centered in one person who has all of the awesome, great qualities. And that person is Christ, right? We are a Christ-centered institution, and we want to help you and equip you and empower you to be like Christ, and have all of those great qualities. So that whatever degree you end up getting, you can actually carry it with your character. How many people have knowledge and have degrees, but they don't have the character to be effective and to influence their world? Well, we want you to graduate, when you graduate from Indiana Wesleyan, to have much more than a college degree, because you can get that at the different institutions, right? Let's be real. But character is what is going to help you be successful and be effective and be a person who glorifies God, and who can make a difference in the world that they're in. So character is one of those first things that we want to help you develop. And we have prayer in the classroom. And we have a faculty-student ratio of 1 to 14, so you'll be able to build a relationship with your professor and have mentors and have people who are going to build you up and teach you and equip you with the good things that you should learn, that you should have in order to be successful in life.
And a lot of that sometimes too, I know for me, like when I started off my college search, like I said, I went to a small Christian school, and I figured, oh, this is my time to be with lots of people and, you know, branch out, go to a big school. And it took me a minute to realize, one, that didn't really like gel with who I am and how I've lived my life for the past, 18 years. But more than that, this idea of who do I want to be kind of trumped all that. Sometimes the environment that you're going to be in for college is going to have a huge influence on who you end up being for the rest of your life. And what people you surround yourself with, what environment you surround yourself with, is really going to inform that too. And so as you guys are kind of like searching out schools, going on different visits, just be mindful of that as well. Take a step back and see, like, if you could see yourself here, if whatever, you guys end up kind of visiting, like, is this a place that is going to help you be the best person that you want to be, that God's asked you to be, So just thinking about that, for me, I almost made bad life choices in colleges that I went to because I figured, I just want to have a different environment than I'm what I'm used to. But I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I'm so glad that I ended up here and that I had people like intentionally pouring into me and helping me become a person of character. Anyone remember that second word? So character. Scholarship. Yep.
Yay.
Very good. You guys are paying attention. This is great. So when you hear the word scholarship, what is the first thing that pops into your mind? Money. Absolutely. Nowadays we kind of equate this word of scholarship with money. But if you actually look it up in the dictionary, what the word scholarship means is this idea of higher learning. So think 7, 8 years down the road. You guys have graduated from college. You are in your first job. How many of you guys want to feel like you are equipped and are becoming an expert in your field? Yeah. Like I would hope for my nursing friends here that you guys would feel really, really good and confident. you know, and helping you become the best, whatever that is, physical therapist, maybe worship leader, teacher, nurse, you know, understanding an academic community and what that's going to do for you and helping you become the best, whatever you can be, you fill in the blank. You know, that's important. And especially as you guys are starting off your college search, you know, it's really good to think about, what do I need in order to become the best, whatever I can be. So this is for anybody who wants to answer, but what are some of those things that help you guys learn best, or that you feel like you're going to need from an academic program that are going to help you actually be successful in what you want to study? Relationships. How many of you guys like having access to like your teachers or professors if you have questions or just want to talk? Yeah, literally everybody. You know, so, and that's a huge thing. You know, some colleges, you're going to be in class, you know, have maybe a lecture class with like 200, 300 people. Here, that might look like 20, 30, 10. You know, people know your name. They know your story. And to be able to even say like, hey, you know, professor, whatever, like, I didn't really quite understand like what we were talking about in class. You know, the majority of the times you're gonna find them, you know, not just like during office hours, but you know, a lot of them telling you, hey, like, let's go grab Macan at the coffee shop and grab a cup of coffee and let's talk about maybe what you're not understanding. Or, you know, especially what I appreciated most was the times where people just got, you know, my professors, my mentors, they just got lunch with me. You know, they wanted to know as much about my story as, you know, the people who were living in my hall. And for me, that was really important because that one made me feel like I could ask things in class. You know, having that personal relationship with your professors. I mean, like I said, I went to a small school and I didn't really even totally find that until I was in college. So that's definitely a really cool thing. What else? What else do you guys feel like you need to help be successful? Or for parents, what do you guys think that your students need more to be?
Hands-on learning.
That's a good one. How many of you guys learn well and better when you're actually doing things? Okay, again, unanimous. You know, and that's a huge part about college. You know, each of you are going to be studying different things specifically, and you know, it's kind of hard if you're going to be a nurse and you only have ever looked at a book before for me to feel confident for you giving me a shot.
Yeah.
You know, like it's, I mean, one of those things where like, yes, like there will be times where you're going to be in the classroom, but a lot of this is really getting out there and helping you guys figure out what you're good at and actually using that sooner. So like for education, you know, you guys are going to start working with students your freshman year and start practicum your sophomore year. So sophomore, junior, senior year, you're in the classroom. You know, nursing majors, you guys are working in the patient care lab and your freshman year, and you're going to get to start clinical sophomore year. So sophomore, junior, and senior year, you're in the hospitals. You know, so regardless of like what major you're looking at, if that's PT, exercise science, you know, if it, you know, whatever that might end up looking like for you, if it's something music related, if you are doing different performances, if you are collaborating with your professors to do different pieces, you know, whatever that might look like, you guys are actually getting to do that. And that's the best way to teach you and to help you guys learn. So that's just something I'd, you know, continue to encourage you guys as well as you're kind of going through, to ask yourself what you need. You know, and if you know what you need, then you can ask different schools as you kind of go about, what do you have? How can we like pair up here? And is this a good fit for helping me kind of feel, you know, like I can be an expert once I graduate, and competent and feeling really good about kind of moving forward on your own after school.
Remember that third word? Leadership. When you think of leadership, what do you think? What comes to mind? What does a leader look like to you?
Confident.
Confident? Role model. Have you ever been under not so good leadership? How does that feel? It's kind of disempowering, right? Kind of frustrating. Doesn't make you want to be your best, right? But how many of you have been under good leadership? How does that feel? How does that feel?
Feels really encouraging.
Encouraging, absolutely. Yeah, it empowers you, makes you want to be your best, right? We talked about character, who you are. Leadership, I kind of like to see it as how you behave. John Maxwell said that leadership is influence. So pretty much is empowering others, pushing others to become their best. And with a strong character, and effective and an expert in the area and effective leadership skills, wow, the sky is the limit for you. So we want to help you become the best leader that you can be. A leader like Christ was, a servant leader, through community involvement, through empowerment of mentors, through different things that are going to help you become that person who is not in front telling others what to do, which is the traditional concept of a leader, but actually being the person behind the group of people, pushing them to be the best that they can be. And being an expert in your area, a person of character who can influence others so that you don't have to tell them what to do. They want to do the best. They want to be the best. So leadership is not just a position that you hold of authority or whatever it is. It's actually being next to somebody, not in front of somebody, but next to somebody, encouraging that person and empowering the person to be their best. Being a servant, isn't that what Christ did? He was never in front of us. He was encouraging us to do great things, and he said himself that greater things we were going to do. So he was not trying to pretend to be the best, although he was the best. I mean, he could, say, hey, I'm the son of God. I have it going on. But he didn't. He actually empowered his disciples to be the best that they could be. And we want you to be the best that you could be. And we want you to be servant leaders who change your community and change your world. Your t-shirts say the world is waiting. Not necessarily the geographical world is waiting, although yes, that might be true, but your friends, your family, your community, the place of your employment is waiting for you to show your character, to be that trustworthy, that humble, that person of integrity who can influence the department, whatever you're in charge, to be the best that they can be. And leadership is so powerful, so strong, that you're not just influencing somebody to be the best that they can be at their jobs, but to be the best that they can be, that they can be as a person. I love that you said that you like to help people and make their lives feel better and making them smile. And when you think about somebody making somebody smile, you might think about a joke or a clown or something like that. But you actually said something alluding to improving their lives, and that would make them happy. So when you are an effective leader, you are actually improving the lives of other people, therefore making them more effective, and they want to be empowered, and they want to be alive, and they want to do things because you are that person pushing them, who knows, who has the scholarship necessary, who has the strong character necessary, and the awesome behavior to just help them be the best that they can be. Pretty much, we want you here in Ghana Western for you to be not just a person who has a degree, but a person who has a strong character, who has excellent scholarship, and who has great leadership skills. And like I said before, the sky is the limit, and you can be so successful in whatever area God leads you to be. It's about you. It's about you being who God created you to be, and that's when you're going to be truly successful and truly effective.
So I want to talk about some of these things that we promise as a university to grow our students in. So we mentioned those characteristics being character, scholarship, and leadership. I mentioned earlier to you guys that Cassidy and I are going to spend time today discussing those things, and I want to make sure we get to those, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is our campus developing you guys to be of a character that is unapologetically Christ-centered, okay? So play along with me for a second. Everyone go ahead and close your eyes, okay? With your eyes closed, when you hear the word character, I want you to think of a person. Maybe it's someone you live with, or work with, or go to school with, but that just embodies the ideal image of character, okay? When you have that person in mind, go ahead and open your eyes. Now, thinking about that person, what qualities do they possess? This is like a non-rhetorical question. I'm looking for feedback. What are some qualities they possess? Strength. Yes, ma'am. Keep it coming. I'll just go straight down the line if you want me to.
Or you can chat now.
Is genuine.
They're genuine. Yes, ma'am. Girls.
Honest.
Okay. Good.
Trustworthy.
Okay. Loving. We might as well have you answer to that.
Strength.
Strength too? Okay. Guys, these are all great characteristics. The three that I wrote down that came to mind right away, and I thought of my mom right away, was honest, integrity, and trustworthiness. Those are the three things that instantly come to mind for me. Well, on this campus, what we realize, and this is what we're hoping all people realize, is that the ideal image of a person with character is Christ. What we are trying to do on this campus is to get each and every one of our students to look and act more like Christ each and every day. Now, acting and looking like Christ for us as imperfect people is a messy process. And we, trust me, don't have it all together yet. I'd love to be able to say that we are perfect people living in like a perfect little place here at Indiana Wesleyan, but there are some times when we mess up and we get it wrong. But we have a gracious community around us that comes and supports our students and our staff and the people that are here, so that if we kind of fall from the path of character, we have people around us who love us to get us back on track. So on this campus, like I said, we're trying to get you to look and act more like Christ. So what we do is every single class is going to start with a prayer or devotion. Our chapel services, which are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 11, are actually required for students. So this is a time where we do praise and worship, we have prayer, we have community announcements that all of our students need to know about, but then we always have someone that comes to campus, someone who may be connected to Indiana Wesleyan, like a student, or a professor, or a board member, or the president of the university. Or we have people from outside of campus come in, but they always have a message on their heart that they believe our student population should know. It's something that is going to be able to, if we do it well, bring us closer to Christ each and every time. During our athletic events, this is the one for me that was the hardest to grasp sometimes, and still is. Before and after our athletic events, we actually pray with each other as athletes. Now that was hard for me to grasp as well, because like I played high school sports, and like when I played baseball, like when I was catching, I talked smack to the guys that came up to the plate. Like it's weird for me to see our baseball players like go pray for each other before and after the games, even if we clobbered them or if they clobbered us. Like we're still praying to see that everything that we do is glorifying God through all of our actions. So like I said, guys, this is a process that we're trying to do well on campus. It's a messy process sometimes, and we're not perfect. But we're striving to do that each and every day. We're going to be growing you guys in the same facets. Okay? So character is the first one. Who remembers what the second characteristic is that we're going to be developing you guys? Scott. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I was going to ask him too. I'm glad we were of the same mind.
Yeah.
I wanted to quiz you. All right, so that second word is scholarship. Specifically, we do that here through an academic community. When I say the word scholarship, what's the first thing that kind of comes to your mind? You can shout it out. Money.
No,
Yes,
yeah,
and it is.
You
And
had it right
yeah,
away.
typically.
I saw you. I saw the eyes. I knew it.
Yes. Typically, people are like afraid to say that because we like feel weird. But in this time of your life, it's something that when you hear the word scholarship, you think money. That's like the first thing that comes to mind. Which we can we'll talk about that kind of scholarship later
We'll talk
on.
about it. Don't worry. We'll talk about it.
But scholarship, another definition of scholarship, and kind of the original definition is higher learning. And so we're not necessarily, just committed to money. We are committed that we do want to, give you a scholarship. But we want to grow you guys into higher learning. So as students, as you guys think about kind of what you would want in your academic program, are there some different kind of characteristics that you think you would need? Or even parents, things that you think your students would need in a program? And you can kind of shout them out. I know that Alex, you mentioned Anna being really hands-on. So kind of that hands-on thing. Are there some other things that maybe you need in an academic program?
You already said it.
Yep, you already said the main one?
Well, like for me, for example, like I needed to make sure that I had small classes.
Yeah.
Because if I had a class that was like too large and I couldn't go to talk to the professor, or I couldn't have like the people sitting next to me like that I knew, I knew I would not be successful in that course. Because yes, I love learning, but sometimes it took me a little bit longer to figure things out than the kids sitting next to me. So I needed that extra time with a professor or with students in study groups or with tutoring to be able to learn the content. Like that's something that I needed personally.
Maybe alternatives to certain people who aren't very good at test taking, and they need to hear a book rather
Yep.
than read it.
There you go.
Definitely. I was one of those that had to hear it rather
Yeah.
than reading it.
And some people need to hear things, some people need to see things, some people need to do things. You learn in all different ways. And the great thing about our programs here is that you'll get to experience all of those different types of learning in different ways. And for example, like what you're talking about with having trouble taking tests. We do have an office on campus called the Center for Student Success. So that's not specifically for one academic program, that's for all of them. So for any students that struggle with test taking or note taking or just need help in a class, there's free tutoring available through the Center for Student Success. I did that for a couple of my psychology classes that I knew even going in that were going to be tough. Because we have those smaller class sizes, we have a 14-to-1 student to professor ratio, so it's definitely smaller class sizes. And because of that, I was able to connect with even upperclassmen in my program. And so I knew going in, physiological psychology is going to be really hard. And one of my friends who was a couple years above me, she told me I got a tutor within the first week, and I'm so thankful that I did. And so I went the first week of physiological psychology, I got a tutor. And I'm so thankful that I did, and I got that advice, and I was able to get to know someone, kind of almost have this kind of informal mentor in a way, because our programs are small enough that you can connect with people. I think that professors are a super important factor with that as well, and being able to access your professors. And because they don't have a class of 600 that they're teaching, they have a class of 14, sometimes up to 25, depending on the different class. They're able to connect with you more. And because we are a Christ-centered school, they care about you more than just what grade you get in their class or that you're there. They're not the type of professors that if you don't show up, it doesn't matter because I still get paid. They're not like that at all. They care. They reach out to you. I've had professors reach out to me when I didn't show up for a class and ask me how I'm doing and if everything was okay. I've had professors, help me with life skills, like just even time management outside of the classroom, that, it didn't matter, to him if it wouldn't have affected how he got paid or his evaluation as a professor or anything. But he cared about me as a person and how, successful I was going to be in the future. For your different programs, as you guys go on tours after this, you guys are going to get to explore a little bit of our different programs and different things that are available to you guys on campus. But kind of talking about that kind of hands-on experience, as you two are kind of thinking of nursing or pre-med, something with that, we have our patient care lab on campus, and so that's a place where students who are nursing students are able to get experience before they go out to the hospitals. So they get to practice doing different things there on some of our, I think we have 20, 25 mannequins in there. The students get to get experience doing things there before they're actually working with real people. So you also get opportunity to have your clinical start sophomore year. So you have 3 years of clinical. So sophomore, junior, and senior year, you have clinical experiences. If you are thinking more along the lines of like criminal justice, my younger sister just graduated in April with a criminal justice degree. Her practical experiences included a lot of various things, but they would go to all over the place. Like they would go to like prisons in town and learn kind of how the prison systems work. They would go to like the academy. They would go to like police station in town. They go to a lot of different things as just like little field trips. They would do field trips all the time. I felt like every week she was telling me she was going on a different field trip. But then she actually did an internship through our program as well with Indianapolis Metro Police Department. So she did that for 6 weeks last summer and got connected through one of the professors here, who's actually he's a sergeant or lieutenant. I'm still trying to learn the whole like the hierarchy of the police department. So she did that for 6 weeks last summer. And now she's actually in the academy. I think she's in like her 3rd or 4th week in the police academy with IMPD after she graduated. So being able to see kind of what those practical experiences do for you and then being able to see her like do that. I think like maybe 40 students in their class and they had thousands apply. And so to see her out of all of those students that applied, or all those people that applied, to see her have that success because she was prepared well here. So every single program has that practical experience, has that, listening, through lecture, reading a book, you have all these different types of learning that you're going to experience in different programs. So you can see more of that on the tour as well.
The last thing we have for you is leadership, okay? Now, it's all about being a world changer through leadership. Leaders look differently to different people, okay? I've been gracious enough and been blessed, absolutely, with great leaders in my life. Have you guys ever worked for, and this is students and parents, have you guys ever worked for somebody that's had really good leadership skills? And if so, what does that look like? What does a good leader look like to you guys? Communication, okay. Say endurance, like can run far? It's supposed to be a joke, you get laughed at. Thank you, Miss Evan. What do you mean by endurance?
Like anything you throw at them, they can overcome.
Oh, okay, yeah. I like that. Organized, okay.
I think someone who develops their employees rather than just trying to boss them,
Right.
develop them to be as good as they are.
We actually just went to a conference as a team out in Denver, Colorado, and one of the sessions was talking about the difference between managing and leading. And I think that there really is a difference between, just having maybe a leadership role, like being a manager, and a difference between, just kind of bossing people around, and a difference between actually leading people and developing people.
So even talking about that, like the whole manager not really develop people below you, have you ever worked for somebody that wasn't a good leader? You guys have any stories about that? Like, I'd love to hear these. These are some of my favorite stories.
You're shaking your head, Anna. What are your thoughts?
She was actually a supervisor. And because I worked at Hollister, and she wasn't the person that hired people, it was the managers under her that would hire people. But if she didn't like that person just because of how they looked or their personality, they would hire them, but she wouldn't schedule them at all. They're like people who got hired in the summer, they get scheduled over too.
Oh no. Yeah, so that's not a good leader for sure. Anybody else? Again, for me, I've been fortunate enough to have mostly really good leaders. There was one leader that loved to make sure everything was done exactly the way she said it was. As in, she would say what she would like done, and then would stand next to you while while we were doing it to make sure it was done properly. And if we varied any way from what she had said, it was corrected in front of us, in front of everybody. So it was not an encouraging environment. It was a place that was kind of demeaning at times and didn't give employees a chance to thrive and grow and maybe even feel comfortable bringing up new suggestions for a way things could be done better because it didn't feel like that was accepted. Well, we obviously don't want to be growing people that are like that. We want to be able to make sure that our students on campus realize that being a leader is not focusing on your title, the number of letters after your name, the amount of zeros that you have in your bank account, being dressed the fanciest, or talking the loudest. We don't want students to realize, or we want students to realize that's not what leadership actually looks like. According to Christ, being a leader is someone who steps up as a servant. That are developing people that are below them, that are coming alongside and giving up of their time and energy and who knows what else to actually be with people around them. Christ is an ideal example of that. Getting down on his hands and knees, and I love this example, of washing his disciples' feet. For me, that's so powerful because like growing up through my life, like the different jobs and the leaders that I've been around, there's not a single one of them that would have gotten down and washed their employees' feet. Even the ones that I thought were great leaders, until I got here. When I got here, my RD, or the resident director, freshman year, actually came through and did that for every single student. He didn't even know me. This was like day 3 of being in the residence hall, and my resident director, who had like bumped into me once, and I'd seen him in the hallway a couple times, he was there for us. And he wanted to model that style of leadership. And we actually continue that today. I don't continue that today. I don't go around and randomly washing people's feet. But our residence life staff, who are these students on campus, actually this picture here, their RDs, or their bosses, will actually at the beginning of the year bring everyone to a fountain on campus, which you'll see in a little bit, and actually get down on their hands and knees and wash their employees' feet to show them what it looks like to be a real leader. Someone who gives up of their time and maybe gives up on clean hands to be able to like dedicate this to students. So what we do on campus is we get you outside of this Indiana Wesleyan community, and we get you plugged into people in the community that actually need your help. So in every single residence hall, there is a position called the outreach coordinator. The outreach coordinator's job and passion is to be able to go out and serve the people in our Marion community that need help. They will actually connect with different organizations here in the city, such as like the Salvation Army, the St. Martin's Food Pantry, going down to the Boys and Girls Club, or working an after-school program at a couple of the local middle schools. They connect with those organizations, and then we commit as a university to bring students to those organizations every single week. Sometimes it's harder than others to get students to go to those events. But sometimes, and this is what I loved, in our residence hall my freshman and sophomore year, we connected with the Boys and Girls Club, which is just down the street from campus. And on Tuesdays, about 2:30 until about 4 o'clock, we would go down and we would just hang out with some of the kids from the local Marion area. That was a fantastic thing for them and for us too, to be able to pour into the lives of the people around us, to be able to see these kids and kind of meet them where they are, and for them to meet us where we needed help too. Honestly, we just played basketball with them most of the time, and they loved that. I loved pouring into these kids, and I almost got as much out of the experience as I thought that I was pouring in. So we're going to get you connected with organizations here in Marion that need help. We also have opportunities for you guys to go kind of out all over the place, not only here in Marion or the state of Indiana, but going out nationally and internationally as well. There are quite a few mission trips that go out every single year from Indiana Wesleyan. I had the chance my freshman year to go to New York and stay at the Salvation Army in Harlem. And there was a group of about 10 or 15 of us that just kind of poured into the pastors that were there and helped do just a little bit of work around the place that they just couldn't do by themselves. They just needed an extra set of hands. So it was us getting kind of out of our comfort zone at times to love on and support the people around us. For me and the staff of people that were with us, it was a chance for us to realize that, it's great to be able to give up of ourselves and love the people next to us. We get to look and act more like Christ. And again, just like I mentioned earlier, we may not get it right every single time, but we're trying. That's all we can do. I would love to be able to confidently say that every single year we are graduating like 500 to 600 to 700 kids that have this idea of servant leadership down pat. We would quickly change the landscape of this country if we were able to do that. And that, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, because that's an exciting thing for me. To be able to graduate students that don't care about titles or money or managing employees, but are more passionate about encouraging those around them, challenging and growing the people next to them, and serving the people they're with. So that's what we're doing on this campus. We're growing you in character, scholarship, and leadership while you're here, not just through your academics.
So I want to walk you guys through those questions, or not the questions, but those words from our mission statement. The first of which is character. So if you guys could close your eyes for me, imagine in your mind a person of character. And when you have that person in your head, you can open your eyes and look at me. Okay, so you all have thought of someone of character, right? Throw out a few characteristics. I'll start. So for me, a person of character has integrity. That is a huge thing. They're very, they have a lot of integrity. Okay, now your guys' turn.
Thoughts?
Erica?
Service oriented.
Okay, that's awesome. That's a really good one. Parents, you feel free to throw some out as well.
Honesty.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Others?
Compassion? Is that what you said? Absolutely.
Consistent.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a really good word. How about you, Shelby? Kind. Yeah.
Humble.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Dependable.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Very dependable. So all the words that you guys just threw out, they all point back to one person, and that's Jesus, which is exactly who we're supposed to, strive to be like in our life. And that's why we are unapologetically Christ-centered. That is why as an institution, we want to help you build that character. We want to be the iron that sharpens you so that you can be iron in the world, which I think is a powerful thing. We do that a lot of different ways. We do have chapel on campus 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All 3,000 of our students go into the chapel auditorium, which you're going to see very soon. You'll see that you'll all fit in there. It's huge. And we worship the Lord together, we pray together, and we hear a message either about someone's journey and how they've impacted the world, or about the Bible. There's so many different things that you'll learn in that space. So that's one way that we do it. One way that was very, very, very good for me was in my counseling classes. For me, I believe that true healing comes from the Lord. And so having really amazing philosophical conversations with my professors about what it means to be healed and what it means to be a Christian counselor, a Christian who is a counselor, or a counselor, what are the differences, in those 3 things? That was really important for me. So we did devotions would oftentimes open my classes, prayer would oftentimes open my classes, and that meant a lot for me in what I was studying. I know in our athletics we have this philosophy of I am third, which basically means God first, others second, and then me. And that's powerful because you learn to serve, you learn to be that humble servant leader, which is so important as you go into the working world. I saw this a lot in my professors. I'll share a story in a little bit when I talk about leadership, which is the 3rd word, about what that looked like with my professors. But this also, I saw men and women of character that I really looked up to a lot, and I still know to this day, even though I've been graduated for a little while, they still will reach out to me and be like, Lauren, how are you doing? How is life? How's your job? How's your marriage? How are things going? And it's really beautiful that they'll do that. They truly care about their students. Even professors I've had 5 years ago who I could not imagine still knowing who I am, but they do, which I think is really, really, truly beautiful.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Lauren. So
We want to develop students to have strong character that reflects Christ. We also want students to have scholarship. Any idea what this means? Other than money? What we mean here, when we say that we want to develop students in scholarship through an academic community, we're talking about higher learning. And how can you be the best student that you can be while you're here on our campus? Now, you might already have some ideas of what resources you need to thrive, just from your time being a student already, okay? And while you're in college, we want those resources to be available to you as well. So when I got to school, one of the reasons I chose Indiana Wesleyan was because of our smaller class sizes. I am an introvert, and I needed one-on-one time with my professors. I needed that relationship. I knew that I needed to be known. And so this really became a reality for me for the very first time on this campus. My sophomore year, I had just declared writing as a major and added public relations on as a minor. So I was in a communications class, my very first class in the communications division. And Dr. King was my professor, and it was media and society. It was the hardest class I took throughout my entire 4 years here. Hardest class still. But when we got into the class, he said, all right, we're going to be reading this novel, and throughout the semester, we're going to have 4 exams. Not the final exam, just 4 exams throughout the semester. They're all going to be essay-based, okay, based on the novel. I thought, okay, this is great. I'm a writer. I love to read. I'm going to ace this class. I can't wait. Do you think that's what happened? That's not what happened. Well, I did better, but the very first exam that we took, guys, I got it back and I had an F on it. An F. I got every question wrong. First F I've received in my entire life. Oh my word, I was devastated. There were probably 20 students in that class, and I thought, oh my word, what if I'm the only one to get an F? And I'm a writing major. And I remember walking out of that classroom, and I was headed back to my dorm, and tears were just falling out my face. I mean, it was dramatic. And I thought, okay, I can go back to my room and be sad, or I can go back and I can talk to the professor, because this is a small class, and I know that he knows who I am. So I had to take responsibility of the fact that I earned that F. I didn't know how I earned it, but somehow I earned the F. So I went back. I said, oh my word, I don't know what I did. Can you help me? And he said, yes, I was waiting for you to come back. I'm so glad you did. He sat with me for an hour and went through every question and opened that novel and said, this is what I was looking for. These are the examples I was hoping you would point out. This is what I wanted you to get from the text. And I thought, oh, I was entirely off. I don't know what I was thinking. And then the next exam, you guys, I got 100%. And I was so excited. And it was because I took that step and used the resource that was going to help me be the best student I could be. So part of it is on the university to have these resources, but the other part is on us as students to take advantage of them. So we can glorify God and be the best we can be in every single class, and even outside of class. So that's what we mean when we want to develop students through scholarship. So, and now Lauren's going to talk about how we want to develop students through leadership as well.
Which is very similar. I think there's a huge theme here. Professors are awesome. But yeah, leadership's a huge deal. So I'm sure at some point in your life you've probably been under bad leadership, at least once. That's not fun. That's like the worst. I hate being under bad leadership because you can't be a good servant when you're under bad leadership. We want to develop amazing leaders. What if every single student that came through the doors of Indiana Wesleyan University and walked out with a diploma was an amazing leader? Like incredible, like state-of-the-art leader, walked into their work environment and blew everyone away. We have a lot of students. 3,000 are here currently, and we've had lots of alumni and lots of people in our graduate school. What if every single one of them was an amazing leader? That's our goal. We really do want our students to walk out of here with amazing leadership skills. Part of that is that servanthood, like I mentioned. Being a servant leader, a humble leader, somebody who leads not from the front big and loud and boastful, but as an equal. I think that's important. I saw this play out. I got to do, it's called Urban Encounters. It's a class in our behavioral sciences where they take students to different cities and we do service projects and read a book and learn literally how to serve. And I got to go with 2 professors who were amazing, but they are really decorated. You know, they have all the letters after their names and before their names, and all the emails have that on there so that you know, man, this person's been to school. They're smart, you know, they're really intelligent people, but I watched them completely drop all of their degrees, all of their titles, and be people, serving people. It was amazing. You know, we were there for just a weekend, and I learned so much about leadership that I didn't know. That, you know, it wasn't about being amazing and the top and everybody knowing it, but it was about being the person that could lead silently and lead with influence. We really want that for our students. This is actually a picture of our residential staff, so those that work within our residence hall. So the residential assistants, that's an RA, they live on your floor, foster community, and then a lot of other people as well. They all did a big service project. This is a picture of either before or after that happened, where they went out into the community and served. Some of them raked leaves for the elderly that couldn't get out and do it themselves. Others mowed lawns. Other people, I'm sure, helped fold laundry. Like, they just served. They served the people around them. That's really what we're all about. We're all about this understanding of loving others and being the hands and feet of Jesus, which is really important. And that helps people as they grow so much. You know, when you go into a job, having some form of servanthood in your past is a big deal, because you know how to be that kind of a person that gets down on their knees and scrubs the floor. You know, you're not above that. You are there to help everybody, and that's our purpose. We really want to help foster that in our students so that you go into the world and have that mindset, which is really, truly important. And I'm really, really grateful to be part of an institution that has this as part of their mission statement, and everything that goes with it, and really everything that it means.